I know my name and I don't care. No, I don't care.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Fish Lyfe Podcast. We're here in
Billy, where are we? Bro, we're in the woods, son. I know that. We're in some place named after some lady in deep East Texas, surrounded by a whole bunch of bass fishing lakes. That's all I know.
Right. Got a couple special guests tonight. We got Mr. Ronnie Kelly, Capn Guide Service.
Yep.
Capron's been around before. Y'all know Cap.
Capn is full. We just ate Subway. We ate fresh. No, I'm stuffed.
We did. Then we got the out-of-state special guest,
Mr. Luke Duncin.
David Crockett coming out here to.
We came out here and defended the Alamo today, baby.
These can't camps and all, so.
That's good history. I'd forgotten about that.
Don't ever forget the
I
Alamo.
will never forget. I won't never forget the Alamo, and I'll never forget Davy Crockett came from Tennessee.
That's right. So Luke, if y'all don't know, Luke has a YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, the Traveling Circus is the channel name.
Circus.
He does maybe the hottest bass fishing podcast on planet Earth right now. He does a lot of podcasts, and we're out here on a group fishing trip that's being kind of put together by 6 Cents and Ben Milliken from Milliken Fishing, and it's just been an awesome trip, man. We had so much fun. We've been down here. Me and Luke got to kind of team up today and whoop up on some out-of-staters.
Yep.
The volunteer came down and helped us defend the
That's right.
state of Texas one more again. So, man, hey, first of all, thank you for hanging out with us this weekend, and thank you for coming on and doing the podcast with us, man.
I'm a big Texas fan. Every time I come out here, I fall in love with it a little bit more and more. I've been coming for a long time, and 9 hours out here to fish a day and a half, drive 9 hours back. It's worth it.
That's a lot of love.
Sure.
That's a lot of love.
That's
Right there. A lot of
love.
commitment.
That is. I fell in love with Luke, in fact, and
And I fell in love with Big Ron.
We're going to get more into y'all's relationship into tonight's
Yes.
podcast.
I would appreciate that. If
But I will tell you this, you've been on the old podcast, but this is like the new one. This is only like episode 2 of the new one.
okay.
And so we have a new deal that we do with our guests. Chris, you want to let them know what we do?
So first and foremost, Luke, we got to ask, so this question right here that I'm fixing to ask you is going to set the tone for the night. So,
Careful.
This is
Now.
important.
hey,
Careful.
No
Like, you might get shanked over this one. I'm
no
just telling
pressure, but don't disappoint. Biggie or Tupac?
Come with it one more time.
Biggie or Tupac?
Oh, gosh. Tupac.
Come on.
you. Tupac.
Tupac all the way.
Okay.
Tupac.
Yeah, Tupac.
Everybody's Tupac. Everybody.
Yeah.
You know, here's the deal. When you I love that question. That tells you a lot about a person.
It does.
But you know, when you get into Tupac, I was asked. I had a customer one time book me, and the first question he asked me was, "What's your favorite Tupac song?" And I said, "California Love." And he almost hung up on me. He's like, that's too cliche.
And I know y'all can't see this, but right behind off the camera, we do have the infamous Ben Milliken, and he is fired it up on the grill, folks. I can't not show him this. If you're watching on YouTube, I know you folks listening on the podcast are not going to see this, but just imagine some Nebraska.
He sells those in the back of his Tahoe.
Yeah.
I forgot ice though, so they've been warm for the last month.
You're supposed to bring
Hey,
them
they
room
call that
temperature.
aged.
Yeah,
Okay.
dry age.
When they get green,
in the back.
that's dry aged.
They've been slow cooking for
Sorry
half
about
a
the
day.
smell in the car, guys.
So we've got some good homegrown Nebraska beef going on the grill. Ben Milliken hanging out with us. It's an awesome night, man. It's an awesome night. We've got another question that we like to ask everybody. Chris, well, tell them the next. This is a good one.
All right, you ready for this?
I'm
one?
ready,
All
son.
right. If you could bring back a hairstyle, what would you bring back?
Bullet. Come all the way.
I feel like right now, at this moment in time, mullet may be the most popular hairstyle.
It's kind of back. It is
It
kind of
has
back.
let it come back. It has let it come back. But nobody's rocked it like Billy Ray Cyrus.
No.
Ever.
Or Joe Doe.
No.
Or Joe Deertack.
Or they're real Capn. I'll throw that out there, Lou. You probably don't know.
You
about
haven't
Capn.
met the like caricature that is Capn.
Yeah,
Okay. I think I saw it in your back seat
It
today.
is. It's good. Did you sniff it? Did you sniff
I
it?
did.
Ah, do it.
It smelled like puppy.
How many grown men, roll around with a mullet with?
Hey, look drunk and sniffing my mullet.
I did.
right.
I did
That's,
do it.
That's right up there with the time that Rick Clun licked my ear. Hey,
So what hairstyle are you bringing back?
100% the chili bowl.
Did you watch last week's show?
I didn't.
That was Ben's answer. We had Ben on last week, and his answer was the 90s chili bowl.
Great minds.
Thank a lot.
Hey,
I love the
Terrible
chili
minds,
bowl.
I just want you to know that the chili bowl is what made me promise. I'm just telling you.
I promise.
took it to the next
There's
level.
no doubt that the chili bowl bitch probably. I've actually got a reverse chili bowl where there's no hair on top and only hair on the side.
You do have a reverse
It's
chili
a
bowl.
big deal. You do.
Should be plenty.
That's a good question. That's a great question. I knew you were going with mullet though.
Of course.
My son's got my 14-year-old that fishes on the bass fish team. He's got a mullet.
I like it.
All right, so we'll get back a little bit more back on topic, a more fishing related topic. What is your favorite technique and why?
Sight fishing. It's just, it's like hunting and fishing all at the same time, and there's nothing to me any better than looking up on the bank and seeing that big sucker laying there and being able to break down real quick, will it bite, will it not, and then whenever you're able to put it in the boat, like that's one of the coolest feelings of bass fishing.
I'm surprised he stayed seated when you
Oh,
said that.
yeah,
We
kind
talked.
of puffed up.
There was some swelling going on.
We talked a lot today.
Little
But
swelling.
now, one thing, if you don't mind, Luke, and kind of going with us here, travel down the little road chasing squirrel. We have built this channel, like everything that we've done on this channel has been hyper focused on instructional advice.
Yeah.
Not that we're the greatest or the best, but we offer what we got, right?
Right.
And so, that being your favorite technique, do you have anything that we can kind of briefly go over, like tips or advice on how you go about sight fishing?
Man, I think that people try to make it too hard. You know what I mean? I think the biggest thing is repetition is huge when you get one that's actually locked on. I don't think the bait matters as much a lot of the time. I think you got to get something that you like that you can get a good hookup ratio on. I think that's something people don't, they throw a big creature bait, whatever, and that works. But dude, I catch more on like a little crawl worm all the time, like a zoom little critter crawl. Like I catch a lot of fish on that. So I don't like to use bright stuff very much. I'm not, where I fish Tennessee River, they're beat all the heck, which I'm sure it's the same way.
I've
So
gone
I use a
natural
lot more
colors
natural
last year,
colors.
yeah.
I mean, it makes it harder on you to see the bait, but you got to go by feel too. You got to make sure the fish has got it swimming off before you set the hook. But man, just to me, it's more about spending time with an individual fish and understanding what makes it tick. And they are all different.
They're all a little different.
They're all different. But I've got like the same 3 things I throw at every one of them.
Yeah.
And if they're gonna bite, they'll bite one of those at some point. Most of the time.
It's really not about what you throw. It's about reading that fish's behavior,
Yeah.
gauging that, how aggressive you can be in this and that. It's really cool to hear you say all those things because literally everything you say is right out of my playbook that I have fully adopted. The same way.
I think it's a lot like picking up girls at the bar, and you bring
lot.
that up. Every one of them's a little bit different, but you've got 3
like some of them you
tactics
can
or
just
pickup
smack.
lines that you're going to use.
Some of them you can walk up, kind of smack on the rear end, and they like it. And some of them you got to kind of whisper to them a little bit. You know what I mean?
And and on the sight fishing subject, it's pretty cool to have an FLW pro's perspective in the way he approaches it. And I think the more, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say, the more advanced anglers are going to have that type of approach. They're going to be towards the natural colors, understand accuracy and repetition. Repetition's big.
I think the accuracy of the pitching might be the most important part.
And bringing up repetition, that's a big deal. I've never thought about. I always just use the word accuracy, but my mind is thinking accuracy and repetition, and it is, and that's good stuff.
Well, when you take somebody that doesn't do it a lot, they have a tendency to want to throw it in there and let it sit.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you get one ready to roll, you need to be
in and out, in and out, in and out.
It's
Speed is a big
okay,
deal.
let it bite.
And as a guide, that's a. No, I don't want to say frustrating. I don't want to use that word.
It's a challenge.
But it's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
I probably sight fish with customers as a guide as much as anybody. Would you agree with that, Ronnie? You know me well.
Yeah.
Like I sight fish with customers as much as anybody, and it is. You gotta have somebody that has a little bit of native ability to be accurate, but then getting them to understand the in and out nature of like you said, repetition and the speed. And to your same point, every fish is different. That's the number one thing where they're different. To me, is how fast do I need to move that bait in and out of the bed.
Right.
Some of them, the faster you move it, the more they spin. And some of them, the faster you move it, they can kind of back off. And you need to slow down a little bit.
That's
So
right.
it's that's what makes it probably my favorite technique as well.
Hey, I hate to cut you off, but this is getting to be like a Guns N' Roses concert with this smoke. This is awesome. There's a strobe light in here.
Well, it smells a lot better though.
It does smell better.
It smells a lot better than somebody.
Technique's going for again.
I love it.
Hey, I don't think there's anything wrong with sizzling beef in the background of the podcast, son.
All right, so Capn, what's your favorite technique and why?
That's tricky.
I think I have a pretty good guess.
Probably my all-time favorite's neat crank.
Yeah,
I know I was gonna guess.
I do like to frog fish. I like to throw a jerk bait. But man, deep cranking is my favorite. And the reality is, the way I look at deep cranking, dude, this is a crankbait guy, Tennessee River guy. He knows about throwing a big plug. I feel like you have the opportunity to, number one, catch the biggest fish in the school, but you also have the ability to catch all of the fish in the school. And the other thing is, a cranker versus a dragger. Now, I do think that there are times that you got to drag and all that, but I feel like a Keith Combs type guy or somebody like that that's going to go down there, Kevin Van Dam. We later in tournament fishing, we're steering away from KVD right now. We're not talking about him as much, but the dude has built the greatest career and reputation off power fishing, but cranking especially. And he pulls into these schools and he gets these big fish to fire up. And the reality is, you catch so many so fast before they really even realize what's going on. And I think it kind of gets them in a frenzy. And my favorite thing, my absolute favorite thing is I'm sitting there cranking, I feel it hit that spot, and then I see that line go up. But when I see that line go up, and then I feel that I call it the yo-yo go. That's that head shaking.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's a good moment. That's no doubt.
So deep cranking.
So Billy,
what?
Your favorite technique is bait fishing.
Yeah, we've already discussed that. We don't even
We're there.
Listen, I don't know. Me and Luke just met about 15, 16 hours ago when he rolled in here late last night. But I can tell you this: after one day in the boat and having some conversations, there's not a whole lot different in our minds. I don't believe. Like there's a lot more in common, it seems. So.
I'm really surprised that nobody went with a frog.
Frog's fun. I mean, there's so many great ones. So, it's hard for me to not say chatterbait. I catch so many big fish on chatterbait. I fish it so much. I think a chatterbait I've become so fond of because I'm a guide. And a chatterbait's a great customer bait because it comes through all kinds of vegetation really well. They don't really have to know how to set the hook. All they got to do is throw it out there and wind it in, and they can feel the vibration and get the feedback. And they just kind of let the fish load up and pull. As long as they'll pull hard and keep reeling, they can catch most of them. And it gets big bites. And that's a plus when you're trophy bass guiding on Lake Florida. But
well, I love a frog.
Yeah, no, I know you do.
Oh, we know.
But
you're saying to pick one, and I think the other part about sight fishing that makes it the one for me, and this may be for Luke as well, but it's limited on when you can do it. It's not like you can just go do it any day you want to. I can go throw chatterbait any day I want to and catch fish.
So do you think if it was a deal like where you could sight fish 6 months out of the year, do you think you might have a different perspective on it?
I don't know.
No, I'd be divorced.
Yeah.
And they're homeless probably because I'd just be like, where's that man at? That's all I do.
Show me a brown spot.
Exactly, yeah. They would just make it a lot worse.
All right. Well, let me go this direction now. So if you were not a professional fisherman, if you didn't fish tours, stuff like that, what's another sport that you would want to be a professional in?
Probably Olympic swimming. You ever see me in a Speedo?
I haven't, but I feel like after the story
No.
I just
honestly, as crazy as this will sound with my little stumpy self, basketball. I've always liked basketball.
Okay.
And played when I was a kid. I would need about 10 more inches, but who doesn't? But,
Yeah, who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Exactly.
Hey.
We're talking about Ben.
All of a sudden,
looking at Ben's meat.
Ben Milliken woke up real quick when he said that.
You bet.
Okay, Ronnie, if you weren't in the fishing industry, making your living fishing, and you could do another sport, what would it be?
Probably badminton. Badminton it's a bit of a challenge.
Finding somebody to play with.
Yeah,
It's a problem.
And so you're not really playing with yourself when you're playing badminton.
No.
People that play badminton in this entire world are always taken right into nobody to play with.
No, that's true. And no, I think badminton would be or figure skating, and that's a professional sport, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would think I would be a really good figure skater because of my figure.
You pretended to ABC during the Olympics? It's a professional
Dude,
sport.
a professional sport. I actually one time hit an in the park home run in low loop softball.
Really?
I've got it on video.
Swipe up.
Yeah. Hit subscribe to see this video.
All right, Luke. You've obviously traveled the country. You fished a lot of different lakes. What is your favorite lake to fish and why?
St. Lawrence River, Lake Ontario, which that's kind of a biggie, but Thousand Islands area, dude, it's beautiful. There are 5 to 7 pound smallmouth I won't say everywhere, but a lot of places up there, and you can sight fish. It's the only place I've ever been where I've caught a fish on the bed in 25 feet of water.
That's amazing.
You can see smallmouth that deep. It's insane, man. Of course, you're using the flogger. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
The cone of injustice.
The cheerleader cone.
Yeah, it's crazy. I get seasick looking for that dang thing and trying to fish. But probably, I'll have to say there, a lot of those northern lakes, the south, we have amazing fisheries, right? Growing up on the Tennessee River, I love Texas lakes, I love Florida lakes, I love a lot of the Carolina lakes, but those fish up there, the largemouth are big and healthy, you know, not as big as what we've got here, but you see a lot of 4 and 5 pounders.
And they like to eat.
And they like to eat because they're frozen.
They're under ice, they get
and I love a
zero
dumb
pressure,
fish.
yeah.
I'm not too proud to say I love a dumb fish, you know. But to be able to catch big largemouth and big smallmouth, I mean, all those fisheries are amazing. But St. Lawrence is definitely my favorite place I've ever been, bar none.
I'd love to go there.
Ron?
Falcon Lake. You know, so I was fortunate enough to be down at Falcon like in the heyday. Dude, when
2008,
yeah, people were throwing round traps on the bank catching 30 pounds, you know. And so Falcon Lake for me, and I spent a lot of time down there, so I'm fortunate to get to fish the lake that I love. And yeah, Falcon Lake, it's, I mean, the deep cranking, I mean, son, and maybe not a better big fish deep cranking lake in the world. Maybe somewhere in Mexico I don't know about, but that I know of.
Yeah, there's a video I've seen of a guy named Paul Elias that,
Yes.
pretty cool video. Yeah. So, okay. So what about this? Let's go this direction. What's the strangest occurrence you've seen either on the water or on tour?
That we can share with the general public. Because I
know
have
you-
legal ramifications.
Yeah, I know you've seen some things.
Oh,
Just traveling the country, seeing
Lord have mercy, have I seen. I was at an FLW one time. The strangest thing, Scott Martin found a dead body on the Potomac River.
Oh.
Yeah, that's probably I would say like the strangest one.
How about the funniest?
Oh,
Give us a
goodness.
funny tour story.
This was kind of funny to me. Probably wasn't to the guy. But there was a guy from
I like it already. I like it.
Hey, it was amazing. We were at Pickwick my rookie year, and there was a guy named Rick Cotton. He's a guide on Gunnersville, and he doesn't fish the tour anymore. And we're on this big boat race running down the lake, and he and I pulled up. I got to a hump before he did, and he pulls up, and the whole side of his boat is gone. Like, it's to the glass. Just crap everywhere, hanging off of the rubber rail. And I ran this little back chute that a lot of locals know about, and he had gone to the main channel, and they were going like 6 wide through this kind of narrow spot in the river channel, and somebody put him into a river buoy. At 65 miles an hour, dude. My man never checked up and kept going, but the craziest thing that happened was, dude, I would have gone back to the ramp, right? Like, what the? I mean, it was the perfect shape of a river buoy channel marker out of the side of this Ranger bass boat.
That's crazy.
Rubber reel hanging on. He pulls up on the spot. Dude, I've been there for a pretty good while because obviously he had stopped and checked on all this. So, and there were 2 or 3 of us sitting there. There's me, Cody Meyer, and Chris Johnson are sitting on this place. When he gets there, he rolls in, catches a 9-pounder, like first cast. None of us have had a bite, and we've been there forever. He catches a 9. He ends up catching like 24 pounds with a 9-pounder. His co-angler catches 2 7s. Throwing out the back in no man's land, like after we pull up with this destroyed boat, and he's in the top 3 after the first day. That's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And just seeing it, he didn't care. Like the boat, all of it was sinking, but it was crazy. You could see right almost to the stringer of the
That is wild.
It was crazy, and it was hilarious to me. It probably wasn't the real.
Cat, what have you seen that's crazy?
You know, I had a
Or
lady
funny.
one time. I was on a guide trip, had a lady one time. This is a crazy story. And her and her husband were in there, and we would just pulled up to a spot, and I saw them whispering, you know, and I was hoping everything was all right, but I wasn't sure. So I think she was a little bit embarrassed, but he came up and he goes, "Hey, my wife needs to use the restroom." And I go, "Oh, okay, great. We can head back to the marina or go to the bank, wherever you guys want to do." He goes, "Well, she just use your live well. She can just kind of squat the live well." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, the reality is there's already water in it. It's going to flush out and everything anyways." So I'm like, sure, no problem, go ahead. So, I turned my eyes, I kept my head straight. And, well, anyways, that next day, I was on a guy trip, and I was sitting there, and my customers, we're looking around, and I start smelling something. And I'm like, smell. So I kind of, I got 3 guys, and I lean over, and it's not this guy. And anyways, I start smelling. I'm like, man, look at. So I opened my live well. Well, she crapped in my live well and didn't say anything. So I had doo-doo in my live well.
There's no way that's a true story.
That's not a true story.
No.
That's not a true story.
I was just going to address the elephant in the room.
But that is a legend that happened to somebody at Lake Fork. You probably heard this. No, that's not a true story. But that, if it was a true story, that would be awesome. That would be
true story I just made up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was fixing to address the elephant in the room and say, okay, well, she didn't ask for toilet paper. I mean, that would have been. I mean, can you imagine?
He's over here thinking out the logistics of it.
I mean, you fish the rest of the day with mud butt.
That's true. You would have mud butt, 100%.
All right. So let's go into fishing superstitions. Being a big tournament guy, I know you have to have some superstitions.
Dude, I really, I like the banana in the boat stuff don't bother me. But I carry stuff from my kids, like pictures of my kids in the boat with me. I'm real, anything they give me, little notes and stuff, I always carry that. I'm kind of not superstitious, but for luck or to keep them with me. But the craziest thing, not crazy I guess, but the thing that I did on tour, I've got 5 kids, got a house full of kids, and I used to write their names on my culling plugs. So that was always my thing from when I fished culling when we were on tour. But and then I would write my wife on the 6th one, her name. So if we ever got to her, we were probably making money. We would hope,
That's
for
cool.
culling. But then it would help me keep up with which one was the smallest. I'd always put the smallest on my youngest.
That is awesome.
So I'd say, I'd say, Ryder's got to go. Got to get rid of Ryder, But that was one of the only little things that I wouldn't call superstition, but something I've always done. But I'm not overly superstitious, Now my grandmother was. If a black cat ran across the road in front of her, she'd stop the car and burn it. Right there. If she could catch the damn cat, she'd burn it. But I'm not overly superstitious, And there are some people that you can really mess with.
Spit them out.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm one of those guys.
Dude, this cat right here, it don't take nothing to spit him out. You look at him and crossways.
Boy. Ronnie, I know you got some superstitions.
Man, I really don't. If I got a hat, so if I've got a hat and I'm catching them, like if I'm on them and I've got a hat, I won't put another hat on, until that hat's just hat, or I don't catch them, and then I'll kind of switch. But and I'm, really I don't have any. I'm not looking at it. I don't have any superstitions. I don't have any rituals or any traditions, anything like that.
Same thing with the wig, though, right? Like if you're catching them with the mullet, you're not going to change the mullet.
You're gonna have to talk to Capn about that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna speak for him. I tried it once, it didn't work out. But yeah, not superstitious. Don't have anything. I did have a customer though. This freaking dude whipped his Jimmy out and peed in the lake. Like as soon as we started, and I hope he's not watching because this is embarrassing. But I was like, he's talking to me, and he goes, I always, when I get to a lake I've never been to, I pee in the lake. That way when I catch them, they'll remember me. And I was like, oh.
It's kind of weird.
Oh.
That's
This is getting uncomfortable.
we could go in a whole different direction. We probably don't need to go if we elaborate on that much more.
Yeah,
That's some weird dynamics going on.
But I don't personally,
Don't
I
need the catfishing like
definitely don't have any superstitions. I don't even know what I'm doing. I basically go out there and catch them on blind luck every once in a while. I'm so much not caring about the banana in the boat and all that stuff. I got a boat that looks like a banana. So
I love bananas in the boat. They help with cramping, and I think you gotta have bananas in the boat a lot of times. Nature's power bar.
All right, Luke. Here's one for you. If you could give Ronnie a stage name or a character name, what would it be?
Big Ron.
Big Ron.
Yeah, Big Ron.
That's my nickname.
if you could come up with a term to describe Ronnie's personality, what would it be?
Big Ron. That's it in a nutshell. We just met last night. I feel like we've been best friends forever.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
Darkness.
Y'all
Darkness.
darkness? So y'all can go do karate in the garage or what?
We've already done a lot of karate in the garage, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask you the same thing.
Oh, if I could give him a name?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of names I'd give Captain Ron that probably are not really appropriate for this podcast situation.
Stunning and brave.
You know, I do kind of have you came up with this, but I've kind of adopted since you called yourself this once upon a time. But he's my little pocket marine.
I didn't call myself
You did?
No, I never
You said, I'm your little pocket marine.
Jodon's dad. Jodon that we met today. Jodon's dad, Donnie, called me a pocket marine one time. And I'm like, bro, they'll never find your body if you call me pocket marine. That's what I was telling you.
You introduced that term to me for you,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's my little pocket marine. I'll pull him out of my pocket and sick him on folks when I need him.
I'm pretty certain that's racist.
Yeah. It's some kind of ism.
I'd say it's got a chance to be anyway.
100%.
It's an ism of some kind.
100%.
I'm offended.
I'm very offended.
All right, so here's an idea I was kicking around, and I want to hear both of y'all's perspective on this. So I was talking to a friend of mine, driving down the road. In my line of business, a lot of windshield times, I got a lot of time to think, dangerous, right? I was thinking about,
Well, you thinking in general is probably a little sketchy.
well, my point, but me actually having a job where I have time to
And
think.
driving, anything,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's dangerous for everybody involved.
Yeah.
So, what if there was like a reality type TV show where you took 8, we'll call it 6 to 8 of your weekend tournament anglers, just your normal Joe Blows, and you basically provide them with the means to go chase the dreams on tour. Do you think that they'd be able to do it?
If they had all the time.
If they had all the time on the water, you know.
Some of them, but not all of them. It'd be an interesting concept to see who could make it.
I guess more or less what I'm getting at is all the logistics and everything that goes into. I don't think people quite understand.
They don't get it. I have no idea.
You know, this isn't a question that's been asked about fishing. Like I used to be in the golf world, and there were so many guys that were like scratch or below scratch golfers at their local club, and they're like, you'll hear people in that world, in golf especially, you'll hear them say, you know, if I could just practice and play every day, I could play on the tour. Bro, no, like not even close. And the fishing world is no exception. I'm gonna
It may be worse. I think it could be the worst.
There-
With local guys that are, you know,
'Cause
you
there's
go to a town and go, hey, if Danny was in this tournament with y'all this week, he'd blown this thing out.
Right.
Okay, well, probably not. Probably not.
And there's a lot of guys out there that are probably in every sport. People say, if I had the time to work hard,
I had blown my knee out. I'd
Yeah.
have playing the World Cup.
yeah, coach would have put me in. We'd have won state,
Exactly.
Uncle Rico. But no, it's the bottom line is the people that rise to the top because it takes a lot of different things and a lot of stars have to line up to get there. Not only do you have to have a natural ability and a talent and instincts, you have to have the time on the water, and not just for 1 year, but for your whole life in a lot of cases. On top of that, you have to have the work ethic and the drive to outwork everybody on planet Earth.
The
You have
1%er.
You have to work at a 1% rate or better if you want to be there. Like, you have to have so many things lined up. Then you got, in our sport, you got to have the financial backing. Like, because it's not a real efficient way to do it financially if you're trying to professionally fish. You've talked about that on your podcast.
Yeah.
We talked about that before. It's not a cheap thing to do to be like, you got to pay a lot of money to be a pro bass fisherman.
Accountant will slap you right in the face. if you
Oh,
tell
it's the
them
dumbest
sound
thing
business.
financially, right? So you got to have the talent, you got to have the experience, you got to have the work ethic, and you got to have somewhere to get the money. Like, no, there's not very many weekend anglers that
I
can do
think the thing that hangs up a lot of people they don't realize is logistically being on the road that much and having to worry about where you're going to stay.
I mean,
and
you're living
having
out
to
of a
worry about
suitcase.
and worrying about meals and worrying about, you know, you're practicing daylight dark and you get in and you got, you know, you're blitzed, you're tired, you come in, eat something that's probably not good for you, go to bed, wake up, do it all over again the next day, barely talk to your family at home, you know, if you got, there's just a lot of moving parts that throw guys off that are really good local anglers. And then you have this thing where Because that's a big statement that a lot of local guys do make. Man, if I had a chance, we were at Lake Lanier a couple years ago, for example, and there were like 5 guys that got in the tour because they were going to win Lanier, right? I mean, you see it every,
Sure.
like, oh man, this guy, and they're going to fish the whole tour.
Right.
And then Bradley Hallman comes from Oklahoma and beats your teeth in at Lake Lanier, catches spotted bass, weighs 23 pounds of spotted bass the first day, and they're like, nobody ever weighed 23 pounds of spotted bass. Like, welcome to the FLW tour, bud. Like, catching them in a way that you never thought of.
Right.
And the same thing would happen at Lake Fork. I mean, you guys said,
Sure.
man, it's cool, these guys come at capacity.
Yeah.
And I can't believe they figured that out, or I can't believe that happened. It's everywhere you go, it's really hard for, when rookies come on the scene and do really good, like that's always impressive to me because there's so much to block out.
It takes a certain amount of drive to push through all that stuff and keep your focus and keep working it.
And I never, like I said, and I've talked candidly about this, I never had the success that I wanted at all, but I will say that my rookie year, you don't know what you don't know. And I probably had more fun that year just going and being a part of it than when it became more of a business. And you've got the sponsor obligations, and then you've got family obligations, and when we had TH Marine obligations, and as it went on and as it grew, you get busier and busier. There's a lot of stuff to balance, and you see guys, people see Gerald Swindle, oh man, he's funny. Oh man, he does Instagram videos, does Facebook videos. G-Man catches them on the water. What they don't see is the fact that he travels about 200 days a year away from home. Mike Iaconelli's that way. Mike Iaconelli told me one time that the longest period of time, this was probably a year before last, was at his house doing the podcast, that the longest period of time in like 12 weeks that he had been home straight was 8 days. Like, and people were like, man, if I just had the but these guys that truly make a living doing it, there's so much more to it than just showing up, cashing a check at tournament, going on the next one. It's just, it has to become a business. And it has to become, I mean, it's your life. And it's no different than what you guys do every single day.
And when
you have to be
you
immersed in it.
And when you throw the dynamic of the new millennial generation of YouTube and podcasts, now when you add all that in, now you've got a whole nother dynamic, because to be a successful angler, now you've got to kind of get your name out there. So not only do you have sponsor obligations, not only when you get in from practicing for 4 days, and then you got a tournament for a minimum of 2 days, maybe 3 or maybe 4, you got to get on YouTube, you got to edit, you got to do all this stuff.
That's exactly right.
Just to be relevant in fishing. And so,
if you're smart, you're doing it. You know, there are a lot of guys that still don't think they have to do that kind of stuff. And guys like the Ben Millikens of the world and other successful YouTubers are showing pros that we've known forever, like, you better get off your butt and do something. And working in the industry on the business side of it, I can tell you that the industry's looking at it like that too. Like, okay, good, you've smashed them for 20 years, but you better make a Facebook post every now and then, bud. I mean, and it has, it's all, you're right, man, it's changed.
I think in any professional sport, you can get forgotten.
No doubt
in a heartbeat.
No doubt about it.
I think so. And I obviously I've never fished at the professional tournament level, but I have been a huge in-depth fan of it my entire life, you know. And I've talked to these guys, some of those guys, the guys like you, opportunities like this where I get to meet somebody like you, spend a couple days and hear stories and that sort of deal. And I don't think that you're going to do anything at the top tier of any professional sport in the world without that kind of sacrifice, determination, and drive. I don't think the Ezekiel Elliott's get where they're at by being lazy.
No.
You know, you hear people make these comments, oh man, they pay these guys $30 million, blah, blah. These guys are earning that money. These guys are, I mean, they're working their butts off. And I think, I would think that professional fishing is, to me, a little bit of a selfish sacrifice. You're sacrificing a lot, but you're also making your family's decision for them. You got 2 options. Because early into the guide business, I've told you this, I had customers that were like, hey dude, you want to fish? We'll take care of that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, do I want to fish? And my son was starting to play sports. He was 5 years old. He got on his first football team. I'm like, dude, I'm not missing a game. But then he said, you got 2 options when you decide to become a professional angler. There is no C. You can A, take yourself away from your family and allow your family, at least your kids, to go to school and have a normal life, or B, you can take them with you. and eliminate them from having a normal life. There's no C. There isn't, there's no C in that scenario. So I thought about it, and I, it's kind of like a traveling salesman. And I know you travel, but the guys that are gone for weeks, regional salesmen, obviously the TH Marine guys. So these guys that go off, I'm not saying that that's selfish. I'm not. That they're doing what they have to do to provide for their family. But for me, I looked at it and thought, if I go off and I chase the stream and I leave my wife and my kids without a dad at home, and again, I'm not knocking any. I mean, I have more respect for these tournament anglers than most people can imagine, but I'm making their life decision up for them. I mean, I'm telling them, hey, Dad's not going to be here. You know what I mean? Or I'm saying, hey, bud, you're not going to get to play sports. You're not going to get to have friends at school because we're going to get a motorhome. We're going to be on the road 200 days a year. And so that side of it, I looked at that, dude, and I'm like, man, is this something I want to do? And maybe I changed my mind one day because we've talked about this. You're interested in fishing tournaments, and I am too. Maybe I changed my mind one day, but what you're telling me, dude, I've had cold sweats at night thinking about it, trying to make the decision when I had 2 customers that were like, hey, we'll pay for everything. Well, then now you're like, okay, now I'm faced with the question, how bad do I want it?
That's right.
And so that's good stuff.
It's just funny to me that you say that because you always hear the number one excuse for people, or I say excuse, or the number one reason that people say they can't make it is time on the water. Mm-hmm. When in all reality, that's only about 15% of the battle, maybe 20% at the most.
I think time on the water is big, but it's huge.
It is big, but what I'm saying in the grand scheme of the whole, being a professional tournament angler as a whole, that's really only 20% of it all.
Well, my thing is that I hate when people say, because I got buddies like Brian Latner. I had him on the podcast the other day, and he hates excuses. But people say, man, it's all about who you know. You can be a pro. Okay, is it? That's not it. Or man, well, if I just had that chance, if I had some money, and there are like a lot of people, rich daddies and whatever, and I don't begrudge those guys at all. Like they got talent, somebody backed them, and they stand for themselves. But that kind of stuff don't ever fly with me. I'm like, well, it's also you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah, there's a million different reasons you can make it or that you can fail.
Exactly.
There's a whole bunch. Well, I mean, there's a lot of guys with plenty of money and not a lot of talent, and a lot of guys with a lot of talent and not a lot of money. You got to have, the reality is, to be Jacob Wheeler, to be Kevin Van Dam, to be Mike Iaconelli, to be Scott Martin, to be any of these guys, you cannot be just an above average fisherman. You have to have the full package.
I've always had the belief of, even in our little niche business of being a bass fishing guide on Lake Fork, which is in the area, it's kind of a unique deal, but even in doing that, like anything in this fishing industry that you're going to do, it doesn't matter what kind of money you have. Like, there's not a shortcut. If you're making your money on the water, there's no shortcuts. And if you have your place at the table and you survive, buddy, you've earned that spot. I don't care who you are, where you come from, or what you did to get there. If you get a place at that table and you keep it and you hold it, you've earned that position.
Well, anything that's meant to be a dream, like people call it a dream.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not going to be easy, and you're going to work 50 times harder than you would be to go to Walmart and be the door greeter. I mean, really, you know where your paycheck's going to come from every week. You're going to go and do that. You're going to do the same thing. There's no surprises. You're not going to roll out and there's going to be 5-footers when you got 2 clients in the boat and storm coming in and whatever. I mean, anything that's a dream, that's above average, or outside of that box, that normal box that folks walk into, it's going to be hard.
And I don't think we've come across this way, and I certainly don't want it to come across that we're sitting here telling anybody that might be listening to this, hey, don't do it or don't pursue it, because that's not what we're saying at all. And what's really cool today is, and I've told this kind of example or shared this example a lot of times, but for me, I have no business being a fishing guide. If this was 15 years ago, there's zero chance that I would be a fishing guide. But because of the way the world operates today and the telephones in our pocket and the social media, like, if you're willing to do the work and do the 1% work and outwork everybody, and you have enough talent to get by, you don't need anybody's permission to do it anymore because the exposure is there. If you're good enough, the public will come to you and they will find you. So by no means are we discouraging anybody from chasing something. If you want to be in the fishing industry, you want to be a guide, you want to fish for a living, on tour, whatever it is that you want to do, you want social media videos like Ben Milliken, like, there's no reason you can't do that, but you better be ready to work harder than everybody on planet Earth, bud, because everybody's trying to do it. Yep.
So I was watching I watch a lot of YouTube stuff, and I watch a lot of tour guys and stuff like that. And I know you know him, Dustin Connell. I don't know how well you know him.
Yeah.
So I watch a lot of his videos, and some of his videos really go in depth on kind of where he come from, how he got to where he's at now. And I've watched, like I said, I watch a lot of his videos, and that kind of put it in perspective to me what it actually takes.
Yeah.
And it's mind-blowing because I catch myself all the time, you know, and I'm just a weekend angler. I like to fish tournaments, just little clubs and stuff like that. Man, I wish I had more time on the water. If I had more time on the water, I've been guilty of saying that before.
Oh, yeah.
But in all reality, it's so much more.
So much more. Man.
It's just mind-blowing to, you know, kind of
It kind of starts with the time on the water. I think that's kind of where it
It
starts.
does.
It needs to start with your love for fishing. This
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to stress to young kids, like, because the number one message you get is how to be a pro or how do I get sponsored. Like, the first thing you need to do is understand that you need to love bass fishing more than you love anything else. Because that's where it comes from. That's why all of us are sitting here is the love of a little green fish.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's
like
what-
all the
it is
craziness
crazy.
going
Yeah.
on in this industry, and when it turns into a business, it all started because you sit on a pond bank with your daddy or your granddaddy or by yourself or whoever, and you learn to catch fish. That's where it needs to start. You know, that's
Absolutely.
where all of us.
What's funny is
Fishing is fun.
we're all sitting here for however long we've been talking. As we kind of get towards the end of this deal here, we've been sitting here talking about fishing this whole time, talking about nothing but fishing. And we're gonna turn this camera off here in a minute and turn the recording off, and we're gonna go right inside that door, and there we might sit right here,
Exactly.
and we're gonna keep on talking about fishing
That's exactly
until we all
right.
decide it's too late. We got to get up in the morning. We're gonna go to bed. Like
Exactly
we
right.
did it all on last night. We just
That's awesome.
we're all obsessed
That's
with the
awesome.
sport.
Hey.
That's
Yeah.
I love
it,
that.
dude.
It's all
Fishing's
about-
fun. Fishing's fun.
It
It's
is,
supposed to
dude.
be fun.
It's just crazy the way you broke it down to me because, like, I live on Lake Palestine. Like, I
Yeah.
live on Lake Palestine. I have absolutely zero excuse not to be the Lake Palestine master. And I have plenty of time to fish it. But guess what? I don't fish it very much at all.
Yeah.
So that goes back to that 1% deal. You've got to be willing to do the work. If that's what you want, if that's your dream, if you want to get somewhere. it's
And
what
I'll tell
do.
you this, when I started my guide business in 09, it was never work. And that's what my buddies always tell me though. You know, I just got rid of my boat, 520 something hours on it. And we're sitting there talking about it, and I'm like, man, I don't feel like I've done much this year. I really don't feel like I've done anything. Like, I haven't. The problem is, it's not work. Yours is work. Yours is work.
Well, what's
Yours
funny
is work because you have all
What's
the
funny
editing and all that
is
stuff.
as I go guiding every day or filming videos, and the funny part is, and I've told a bunch of customers this, people know me well, know this about me, but I don't feel like I'm at work when I'm at work. I go to work, I go get on the water, and I'm not at work. I'm loving my life, and then because of the social media aspect and the stuff that I do, I come home and I feel like I go to work when I come home.
Right.
So it's a weird dynamic. It works for me. It keeps my dream alive. It keeps my dream building. It keeps me moving forward in the business the way I want to. I don't do very well with just being complacent and settling. I always want to be doing something new, and that's why I'm always doing like adding a podcast to the channel because I like to do new things and take on new challenges. But that part does feel like work. But what that work does is that work keeps me very, very secure in getting to go do what I want to do every day. So I go to work and where I actually make most of my money. That's not work. You know, it's just a weird deal for me.
Yeah.
But
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
What else you got there?
you got any more on your list there?
No, I think we're about out of time.
We have wrapped it up. That's what I'm talking about. Man, this has been awesome, Luke. I really appreciate you doing this with us. I mean,
Hey, I
we've been
appreciate
together
you
all
having
day.
me.
You took time to hang out with us all day on the water. We fished all day, and
No, y'all took time to hang out with me. I came into y'all's backyard. Y'all took time out of y'all's
Yeah.
life to take care of me and stupid idiot Darian.
stupid Darren.
Stupid Darian.
Stupid Darren.
But he and I drove out from my house in Tennessee yesterday, and y'all didn't have to do all this
Oh
by
man.
any means. But man, it's been awesome getting
We're-
to know y'all a little bit and sharing time on the water. It's been fun.
We're definitely gonna have you on again. Whenever you come back, we may do some phone calls and such like that
Yeah,
on the
man,
podcast. We'd love to have you again. And anytime you come down, we're gonna get together and get on the water. And hey, if you're still watching at this point in this podcast or still listening, first of all, bless your heart. Thank you very much. That's amazing. We appreciate it. And second of all, make sure you go check out the Traveling Circus. Go check out Darren is Fishing, who is here with us. Did
He
fish
is
with us
here.
today.
He's running around in there.
And
And
we
we're probably doing CrossFit.
Probably can't reach anybody that has.
He is probably doing
He is probably doing CrossFit.
working on that 6-pack, trying to make an 8-pack.
That's it. And of course, we probably don't need to tell you this, but Milliken Fishing, if you haven't, for whatever reason, Definitely go check out Milliken Fishing as well. We all want to thank 6 Cents Fishing. They actually made this whole trip happen. So 6centsfishing.com, get over there, find us hard baits on the market, some of the best apparel you'll ever find. Unbelievable company doing big things right here in the state of Texas. We're super proud, each one of us, to be a part of 6 Cents Fishing. So thank you guys over there. And most importantly, thank all of you guys for listening tonight to the Fish Lyfe Podcast.
Be sure to like and hit subscribe, baby.
Look at my man keeping me on time.
For another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.